Welcome back to the Beauty Official Podcast. I'm Evan Ross Katz, podcaster and currently trolling the dark web for a dose of the beauty. In episode 2 of this incendiary series, the discovery of a mind-bending crime scene sends Cooper and Jordan to Venice, Italy, where they investigate the beauty's shocking side effects. Here they are, joining me today, Evan Peters and Rebecca Hall. Evan Peters, Rebecca Hall, thank you so much for being here. I have to acknowledge the fact that I love you both so much. This is a very important moment. Now, Evan, you are a longtime member of the Ryan Murphy universe, if we want to call it a membership. Rebecca, it's your first time. Talk to me about being new here and what that's been like.
Well, I'm very excited to get admission. Like you said,
you're in.
I'm in. And it's been great. I did this, and then he immediately asked me to do something which was so radically different to this. And that's interesting in itself, because I think often when you work with people, they sort of maybe ask you back to do exactly the same thing. And Ryan just sort of sees your potential to do like things that you don't even assume about yourself, which is great.
Yeah, he allows you to do something different for sure.
Yeah.
As we've mentioned, you've been working with Ryan for quite some time. What is it about this partnership that keeps bringing you back? And this opportunity, like we've seen you play so many different roles within the Ryan Murphy universe. Do you see there kind of being a through line throughout any of them?
You know, the thing that makes you you is the thing that makes you unique and special and interesting and beautiful. And I think that is something that is a through line through almost every single one of Ryan's productions. So I always am drawn to that. It's such a great message.
Now, talk to me about how the project was brought to you, or you brought to it. How was it first described to you, and what intrigued you about this?
Well, February of 2024, he told me about the comic book series and sent the first script over, and I read that. He said, "I'd like you to take a look at Cooper and see what you think. It'll be kind of this international action thriller, and there's a romance in it, and I was hooked."
I hadn't met him before, and he asked to meet me. He took me out for a very nice breakfast in the West Village, and he pitched me the story of the whole thing, which was really exciting because it feels almost like the most, you know, if I was to sort of like make a kind of definitive Ryan Murphy storyline.
Absolutely.
This feels like it. So to be told the definitive Ryan Murphy storyline by Ryan Murphy, and you know, explaining it all, it was a pretty thrilling moment. And I was like, and then what happens? And then they, oh, really? And then
they don't even know.
And then he said, and you'll be an FBI agent, and he just said, I just want you to be yourself.
Right.
I want you to be funny and British, and you'll have great outfits. And we shoot in Paris and Rome and Venice.
You're like, say no more.
Like, well,
I can do that.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting because in hearing from you both now, but also a lot of the conversations I've had with the actors, is there's a collaborative nature about working with Ryan that seems, from my perspective, to be a little atypical. So in those early conversations when the project was brought to you, can you talk about the ways in which you were sort of involved in potentially crafting your character or broader aspects of the show?
Yeah, I think, well, Cooper originally, I think he was, getting his teeth fixed.
Your teeth are just the slightest bit gray. You can fix that.
And I thought, well, shouldn't he not be doing that? Isn't he sort of the sort of opposite of everybody changing and more of the everyman and kind of that through line of the show? And he was very receptive.
The idea is that embracing imperfections can create something stronger and even more beautiful than before.
I don't get it.
What about for you, though? Was the collaborative nature, was that something that you're used to? Was it unusual?
I mean, it's always different with different directors, and there's different sort of degrees. And also, like, when directors say, I'm super collaborative, that also can mean very many different things when you actually get to it. And I think that with Ryan, it really, really is true. I think that he's very interested in what you are going to bring with you. And he's very receptive to your opinions and your input always. And I love that. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed all of it. If I'm being completely honest, it's probably that I got to play a version of myself. I mean, it isn't, but it's like, I got to speak in my own voice, and he really Ryan was very keen on me sort of ad-libbing any jokes or just sort of being generally cheeky wherever I wanted to be. And I don't often get to do that. People, you know, take me very seriously as an actor, which I appreciate. I take myself very seriously as an actor, kind of. But I also like to have fun, and it was just nice to do that.
Now, talk to me about Jordan and Cooper's relationship, because obviously there's a lot spoken, but one thing I picked up on is there's so much subtext between the two of them, so much longing and so much unspoken. So how did you guys approach these two characters and their relationship?
Well, I love an unspoken love storyline. It's always kind of quite fun to play because whatever you're playing, that you're always playing the kind of like sizzly stuff underneath. So that's kind of fun. And I think it's like, you know, you could look at them as a sort of friends with benefits working situation, but they also are obviously each other's best friends. And so you sort of then, what starts to emerge is, you know, two people who are too proud to be vulnerable with each other. So they're pretending that it's easy and nothing. And actually, it might be something deeper.
Feelings.
They have feelings.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was your approach to Cooper?
Yeah, I mean, you said it beautifully. I think it's wanting to take it to the next step and be able to express yourself and how you really feel, but then being too scared that the other person might not want that or be feeling that.
Yeah, and also like being aware that they're quite hard-boiled characters. You know, they're FBI agents. They're the kind of people that think that they're independent and don't need people. So
Right.
it's really hard for those types of people to let the guards down and fall in love, right?
Yeah, I think that's what makes the energy between them so exciting is it's like typically in a lot of romances, there's one person with the harder exterior, but in this case, they both
they're
sort of
both
have this
doing
hard
it. No,
exterior.
it's like a game of chicken. Like, I'm not going to have feelings if you're not going to have them.
Yeah.
It just goes on and on and on.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
As we see with both of you, these are incredibly physical roles. I mean, your transformation alone. Can you talk about the physicality and how much were you expecting that and how much was it sort of learning on the go?
He told me that it was going to be physical, so I knew it was coming. I don't think that I'm sort of game for that kind of thing. I sort of enjoy flinging myself around and making myself look like a bit of an idiot.
You're definitely flinging yourself around.
I was happy with that. It was, I think, you know, it was more challenging than I think I anticipated in some respects, but super fun.
The action sequence at the end of 2. And I just was wondering, obviously, you know, you prepare for that and everything, but what was it like actually performing that? Because it's a really prolonged, you guys are running all over.
Yeah, a lot of running in dress shoes. It was late at night, but it was fun, man. It was so fun to be able to do that. Mark Ficarra and Jason Mello had choreographed, and I knew that was going to be intense. So we started training pretty early on and kind of diving into that, which was really fun and exciting. And again, the stunts team did such an incredible job choreographing all of that. So it was just fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Were there any moments when you were watching this back? Because obviously you're performing in the moment, you don't fully see some of the sequences and how they're going to look, you know, in the end. Were there any moments when you were watching, you were like, I cannot believe that? I mean, for instance, I'm thinking about like, you're obviously doing the contortion scene that you're doing, but like, I don't know if, you know, you're not seeing it from the outside.
No.
When you go back and watch that, are you just like, oh my God?
See, I like doing that stuff. I don't necessarily like watching it. I'm really like squeamish. But yeah,
And with the sound effects?
I mean, there was a contortionist involved. You know, it wasn't all me. So there was a lot of like, wow, that's impressive. But actually, when I watched it, I was quite surprised by how much of it was me. But it's definitely, the sound effects are really, really add a level to it that's really kind of uncomfortable.
Are you squeamish at all watching that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, but that's the joy of it. You know, you're sort of watching a nail go into a hand or something. It's horrifying.
Yeah. I feel like we're in a kind of body horror assance of sorts, and I would say perhaps instigated by Mr. Murphy. And I'm wondering, what do you both think it is about this genre that is seemingly so grotesque and kind of makes us want to look away, and yet we find ourselves continuously so enthralled by it?
You know, The Fly is one of my favorite movies of all. It's stuck with me since I saw that as a kid, and Cronenberg, and it's just
Cronenberg's the body horror
it's
godfather,
visceral.
really.
You can't look away, and it's horrifying, and it's incredible that they are able to do this.
It's also, it's always like, the storyline is always, it's human it's like it's human inflicted. Like you make the choice to do it. So there's a kind of fascination in like what ends will people go to in order to get something, you know, and how crazy is that? Whilst somewhere probably deep in our psyche, we're all kind of wondering the same thing.
Now, on a project like this, obviously the themes of this show are so topical, and I'm wondering, did conversations about the show, about beauty, aesthetics, Hollywood, what have you, are these conversations that you found yourself having outside of the show at all? Did it infiltrate your thought patterns beyond just your time on set?
I mean, sure, I think. Yeah. I mean, it's like, it feels very, I think Ryan has an unerring instinct to capture whatever's going on in the zeitgeist. And for sure, yes, beauty has been a thing that is like as old as humans, the sort of concept of it, but there's always that sense of like things that are awesomely beautiful, like sunsets and nature formations. And then there's this sort of level of human beauty, which is much more complicated because in some senses it's created by whatever social factors are going on. And now we're in this time where essentially you can buy the thing that everyone has decided is beauty at this point in time. And I think the show is kind of really getting involved with that discussion. And I think that's super interesting and topical.
Was there any way that you were thinking, though, about just being in this industry that's so beauty-focused and so aesthetic-focused? And you both have been in this industry for quite some time, and I'm sure it's changed in a lot of senses. My sense is that a lot of these sort of like Hollywood ideals have sort of funneled their way down to everyday society. Was that at all something that you were thinking about or conversations that you were having?
I think it's something that we all can't avoid, right? It's everywhere. It's in social media. It's everywhere. It's on the internet all the time. It's present in our society. And like, do I know what that means, or do I have anything to add to that? I'm not being naive. I am a lady and an actress. I know that part of my job is to be looked at, you know, and it's, I think that, I suppose where I come down is like, I'm broadly in favor in doing whatever you need to do to make yourself feel like yourself. But I think there is a complicated thing in that the beauty industry runs on not making you feel satisfied necessarily, because let's be honest, you know, keeping people in a place of inadequacy is more profitable. And I do think the show is also saying something about that. You know, like what actually is beauty? Are you really thinking about what is good for you and makes you feel more like yourself? Or are you trying to meet some unattainable standard that's just going to keep growing exponentially and making you pay more money exponentially until you maybe explode?
Yeah.
Well said. Wow.
Talk to me about what was the most fun day that you had on set making this project?
Oh, I've got an easy answer for this. The day that we were just like in Venice on a boat wearing sunglasses, just going around the Grand Canal. It was pretty good. It was looked really. Venice looks good. It's nice to, and we got to go down underneath the bridge of, is it the Bridge of Sighs? It's always like covered in tourists, and there were none there. Oh, and then there was also the Trevi Fountain. We got to do that as well.
That was amazing.
Where there was nobody there.
Middle of the night, nobody there. Trevi Fountain.
That was very good as well.
Beautiful.
It's one of the great things about the show is just like we go to so many fantastic places, and it seems like so many of them are practical. Like you guys were on location in so many of these places. Yeah. How does that change the performance when you find yourself not having to imagine being in Venice, but actually being in Venice?
I mean, hugely. You can't really act it. I mean, it just turns your job from being I'm doing acting to no acting required.
Right. It's almost dangerous, you know. You don't even want to tell the story. You're kind of just enjoying the fountain. Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yes. Did you have a particularly fun or a memorable day on set?
That was, definitely the Trevi Fountain was probably, the most.
Not when we were in the nightclub listening to the endless loop of.
Over and over and over. That's her favorite song. It's the top of every playlist, I know.
Evan sometimes texts me that song just out of nowhere.
I do.
Just in case it might not be in my head anymore, just to make sure.
It's very triggering.
Put it back in there. Yeah. Well, thank you both so much. This was very, very fun.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it.
That's all for this time. On the next podcast, I'm talking to triple platinum recording artist Meghan Trainor about shooting her UFC-worthy, no-holds-barred fight scene on The Beauty. You can check it out on Hulu, Hulu on Disney+, or YouTube. Watch new episodes of The Beauty on FX, or stream on Hulu, or Hulu on Disney+ for bundle subscribers. Lots of places to check out this hot new show. Be sure to rate, review, and follow the Beauty Official podcast wherever you watch or listen. I'm Evan Ross Katz, and I will see you next time.